What's up, gamers? Welcome to GameStar. My name is Rob. Hey, today the 1.62 update dropped for Hunt Showdown, and woo, it's got some big changes. Let's check it out right now. Okay, right now. Alright, so here we have patch notes update 1.6.2. First off, with this update, they also dropped some new skins. So let's just scroll up here real quick. The weapon skin contest runner-up skins are on sale. So just arrived. We've got Wormwood, which is like rotted wood, mostly Nagant with like tree sap, the color of, I don't know, blood maybe. The other one that dropped was the Birds of Prey for the Terminus hand cannon. And that looks pretty tight. That's a nice one, in my book, in my opinion. And this is all subjective, so cast your judgment independent of mine. But both skins have been released in the game and are available for purchase in the Hunt Showdown store with just Hunt dollars. But they're both 30% off right now, so if you're interested, now is the time to buy. Now into the actual update itself. So new weapon, the Scottfield Model 3 Revolver. New small slot medium ammo pistol with a 6-round capacity. The Scottfield differs from other revolvers currently available in that it uses a break open action, which allows for faster reloading. This is because of its open cylinder and built-in ejector that can remove all rounds in the cylinder at once. It uses a slightly shorter round compared to the Caldwell packs, which means the stopping power and range are slightly less in comparison. Since it's a medium bullet, its damage and range will slightly outperform compact pistols. The drop-off, in case you weren't aware, drop-off media ammo is pretty severe though, so I think at max range, the compacts will still pack a little bit more of a punch, but close to medium range, yeah, medium ammo will definitely have it. The only problem you have with medium ammo is there's less of it on the map than compact typically. I mean, I don't see anywhere near as many blue boxes as I do red boxes, but we all pretty much load up with standard ammo boxes anyways, so probably won't affect too much. Anyways, interesting. Always fun to get a new firearm. The ammo types available for it are the basic FMJ, which is Full Metal Jacket, which means it pierces walls really well, and then incendiary ammo, which ignites things on fire. So that'll be interesting to see in the game. I'm not sure it's going to make too much of an impact, but always fun. Guns are fun, something like that. Okay, so general updates. Audio, the weapon menu animations now all have sound playing. Hunter added visual feedback for when a hunter is hit by poison ammunition while the antidote effect is active. So right now, well, in the past, when you shot somebody with poison ammo, it was really hard to tell whether they were immune to it or affected them. You just kind of had to hope that it affected them. You really didn't know. But now apparently there's visual feedback. I don't know what that looks like yet, but time will tell. Gunplay. There's now Regeneration Shots. So these are ones that rather than healing you instantly once the shot's injected, it'll heal you over time. So according to this, health regeneration speed is halved. So that's 2.5 hit points instead of 5 hit points a second. Health regeneration does not stop at health chunk borders, but will continue until current max health is reached. That's to say it's just going to keep sliding all the way up to maximum health, not stopping at each point, like perhaps Ghoul does. If you have Ghoul and you've taken damage, when you kill a zombie at close range, it fills in a little bit of the missing health bar until it begins regenerating to the end of it, and then it stops. So if you had 2 bars down and you kill one zombie, it will regenerate up one of the bars and then it will stop and leave the second bar empty until you kill another zombie. So with these regeneration shots, it will just continue past the first bar into the second and all the way up until you're full of health. Health regeneration will stop instantly after taking damage, usually delayed by 5 seconds. Health regeneration is paused while poisoned, burning, or bleeding. So if you get shot or bit by a hound or step on a trap, walk through fire, anything like this, and you have regeneration going, it will stop the regeneration until you put out the fire or stop the bleeding or whatever the case may be, till the poison wears off, whatever. Health regeneration is paused while reviving a teammate with the Necromancer trait. So it sounds like it'll continue to regenerate with the standard resin, but if you're using the Necromancer trait to do it, it will stop your health regeneration until you complete or stop the Necromancer action. And that's, for those who may be unfamiliar, that's when you res a teammate from range, but you have to have the trait to do it. So there are 2 versions to the regeneration shot. There's the weak regeneration shot, which lasts 5 minutes from the time you inject it. So you'll constantly regenerate health for 5 minutes after taking the shot. Or there's the standard regeneration shot, which is 10 minutes, double that of the weak regeneration. Now there's been a change of crossbows. The crossbow and hand crossbow will now keep their damage better over distance, but the weapon ranges overall didn't change. So its max range is still the same, but the amount of damage it carries through that damage is going to be more consistent or hold up longer. You'll have less of a drop off in the damage at range. The crossbow's basic bolts will now do strong bleeding. So standard crossbow already starts bleeding now, but it's minimal bleeding, which means usually your target doesn't have to respond right away. The weak bleeding is pretty slow. But now it's going to give strong bleeding when you hit them, so they're going to have to take action quickly. And that should give you an edge. It gives you a small amount of time to reposition yourself or rush or whatever it is that you want to do, because they're going to have to seek cover and then immediately stop the bleeding. And then follow it up probably with healing, so they're going to be busy for a little while. The hunting bow also had some changes. So the hunting bow, the basic arrow and poison arrow have their bleeding intensity reduced and only do medium bleeding now. Okay, there are some developer notes here in the patch notes. I'll leave them up to you to read if that's something you want to do. But we'll move on with the major changes here. Kill assists. This is kind of interesting. It's now easier to get kill assists. The kill assist time window is now calculated on a distance basis. The closer players are to a target they damaged, the longer they're eligible for a kill assist. Effectively, this means that players can still get assists after many minutes if they stay close to the target. So if you wound an opponent and they take shelter in a building and you're on the outside of the building, you're still in close proximity or range, but in the past, a few minutes went by and then your teammate killed them, you wouldn't get the assist anymore, especially if they'd already healed up. But now, as long as you stay close to them, there's an extended amount of time in which you can claim an assist if they die. Now, beyond that, players will now be rewarded with an assist if the target kills themselves. So in the past, whether it's accident or intentional, if you had wounded an opponent and then they killed themselves, like held onto a dynamite stick too long, they took a loss, but you didn't get a win. You didn't get the kill, and now you will. You'll at least get assist for it. Players will now be rewarded with an assist if targets are killed by AI. That's awesome. I don't know how many times you've been able to attack somebody or shoot somebody while they're getting attacked by dogs or by armored or grunts or whatever else. But if the grunt or the monster kills them, you got nothing for it. So it's satisfying to kill somebody while they're entangled in a brawl with a mob, but at the same time it's a trade-off because you didn't get any credit, and now you will. Now it'll be considered an assist, which does affect your KDA. Equipment changes. The weak stamina shot's duration has been increased from 60 seconds to 300 seconds. That's from 1 minute to 5 minutes, so that's a big deal. The firebomb and liquid firebomb's burning area duration has been increased from 20 to 120 seconds. So that's from 20 seconds to 2 minutes. That is huge. Firebomb and liquid firebomb burning area duration, how long it's going to burn an area. You can block a doorway now for quite a while, for the whole fight if you want to with fire, instead of just a small moment to catch your breath. That's going to make some big play changes. Custom ammo. Change the Nitro Express Dum Dum to be more in line with the Dum Dum ammo in other weapons. I don't really use the Nitro Express, so I don't know what it was like before. I really can't speak too much on this particular change. Updated the ranges for compact full metal jacket, so they'll travel further now and hold their damage longer. Slightly raised the damage for Dragon Breath on all shotguns, and Dragon Breath now has a short 1 kill range. The longer the barrel, the longer the 1-hit kill range. So it's possible to just drop somebody with one shot as long as you're up close, even using Dragon Breath. I don't think it's going to result in many more kills, but it'll probably feel a little more consistent and what you'd expect in a close fight with a shotgun, regardless of ammo. There's more developer notes on that, so you can feel free to read it yourself. I'll have a link in the description to the patch notes. Retrievable projectiles. I think this is interesting. So the following retrievable projectiles now do substantial damage to AI and hunters when being retrieved by a hunter. So I don't know if you've experienced right now when you use a throwing axe on an armored, but sometimes you'll catch him in the shoulder, or the concertina armoreds can take multiple shots. even up close with a throwing axe. So there has been cases where I've been chased by an armor that has my hatchet stuck in him, and I'll reach out and grab them and throw them into it again. Well, now when you retrieve them, when you pull the axe or the knife or the arrows out of the mob while they're still alive, it seems like they're going to take an excessive amount of damage with that too. So that's pretty cool. I think it'll actually feel kind of realistic. Throw an axe into an armored as it rushes you, and you reach out and rip that axe back out of him. It's going to cause instant bleed damage and a major flesh wound there. So it's pretty cool that they'll do damage. I have yet to see how much, if it's really that significant, but I think it's a welcome change. So this will affect throwing axes, throwing knives, crossbow bolts, basic, and hunting bow arrows, basic and poison. So that's cool. Now meta, hunter slots. Hunter slots have been increased from 20 maximum to 50 maximum. I don't know why you need that many, but I'm sure there's several of you celebrating that, so congratulations. Additional slots can be unlocked for 150 blood bonds each. So you're going to just start with the standard. I think it was 5 or 7. I don't remember exactly. But you can unlock new slots all the way up. It used to be 20, now to 50. Training reward changes. Blood bonds for completing training missions have been reduced. This is significant, but significantly bad. I think they were over generous before. It blew my mind how many blood bonds they were given away on the training missions before. But now they've heavily reduced it. Before, you used to get 100 when you completed the basic. Only the first time you did it. All these were only the first time you finished the training. But there's 3 training modes. There's basic, advanced, and professional. Easy, medium, hard. When you do the basic now, you will get 50 blood bonds for finishing that. In the past, you got 100. So they cut it in half. The advanced was reduced from 250 down to 75. Is that less than a quarter? It's just a very small amount. And then professional reduced from 500 down to 125. So basically, you went from 850 blood bonds for finishing all 3 down to 250. So they've taken away 600 blood bonds for completing those. That's massive, massively bad. But I mean, not game changing, just makes the hunt dollars a little bit more valuable, it seems. But I mean, that's kind of your only chance. I think it was really good before to have such large amounts because new players get excited and can purchase a bunch of legendary skins. Or at least, I should say several, not a bunch. But that kind of gets them excited for legendaries. They can kind of feel kind of a badass out there. And that's really going to cut into that. But I'm not sure it's going to change that many people's overall approach to the game or legendaries. So the unlock ranks. Now, for certain weapons, there's some changes. We got move the Caldwell Packs from rank 10 to rank 18. So you have to be rank 18 now before you unlock the Caldwell Packs. That's probably, I think that's a welcome change. I would say that 10's a little bit too low of a rank. Not that 18's that much higher, really. I know when you first start the game, that seems like a lot. But once you play, going 10 to 18 is nothing. Move the Rival, though, from rank 18 to rank 10. So I love the Rival. That's a welcome change for me. I do think that, having this double barrel shotgun is pretty common, especially in the West. So it makes sense that it's accessible at a lower rank. Although, again, rank 18 isn't that bad. But it looks like they just switched places. The Caldwell Packs and the Rival kind of changed places. And then added the weak Regeneration Shot and the Regeneration Shots to the Health Shots category, which obviously they're going to do. So didn't even have to put those notes in, but I guess thanks for your thoroughness. Okay, ammo capacity. The Winfield 1876 Centennial and variants went from a total of 8 in reserve. That'd be like 8 extra, besides what's in the weapon itself, to 12. So that was an increase of 4. That's like a 50% increase. That's pretty significant. Crossbow, the basic bolts increased from 6 to 9. Explosive bolts increased from 5 to 6. And shot bolts increased from 4 to 6. The hand crossbow, basic bolts increased from 5 extra to 8. Poison bolts from 5 to 8. The choke bolts from 2 to 5. And the chaos bolts from 4 to 5. Some changes to traits. We have Poacher has its cost reduced from 2 to 1. That's pretty cool. It was a little overpriced at 2. Bolt Thrower has its cost reduced from 4 to 3. Also cool. 100 Hands has its damage component cut from 25% to 10%. Increased sway reduction. So the amount of damage the bow did, having 100 Hands before gave you a 25% increase The damage has been lowered to 10%, which is almost not even worth it. But increased sway reduction, I guess that part is what they really want to put the focus on. So the bow won't do as much damage with 100 hands, nowhere near as much, but it will reduce sway, help you aim longer. Bolt Sear now changed to Blade Sear to make it clearer that you can't only see bolts with it. So I guess you can see bolts, arrows, perhaps throwing knives, throwing axes, I'm guessing. Matchmaking. We've improved the queuing method when skill-based matchmaking is disabled. Before, it would wait until you have exhausted options of a fair match before adding the group to a match with other SBMM disabled groups. Now, in case you queue with SBMM disabled, you will be queuing at the same time for matches with other groups of similar level and for groups that would also have opted for the SBMM. We made it possible to disable skill-based matchmaking only from rank 100 or above. Players that prestige are considered above rank 100. So you have to play, for your first 100 ranks, you have to play skill-based matchmaking. They probably want to make sure that people don't inadvertently throw themselves at the pros and get smashed and then never play the game again. So once you hit rank 100 or exceed it, you then will have the option unlocked to uncheck skill-based matchmaking and play against anybody. General matchmaking, minor tweaks, and optimization. So they didn't go into detail there. They just made a few little tweaks to the matchmaking. This developer note I will read, unlike the others that I just referred you to the patch notes, because this is short and sweet and kind of explains their decision on matchmaking. One of the best parts of SBMM is the opportunity to protect new players from having to go against opponents that may be too difficult. We want players to avoid this option until they are more experienced with Hunt and its game mechanics. So, the Hunt Showdown team is quite aware that their game is very challenging and has a steep learning curve, and they're trying to do whatever they can to minimize fallout from new players. So I can't blame them for that. I don't think this is really going to be, a make or break change. It probably will have the intent that they want. It'll have the results they intend, but it won't really affect players in any negative way. Lobby, weapon equip animations have been updated. Hopefully they've been updated to make more sense, because lately when they had the animation, so many of the rifles, the hunter would go to throw them on their shoulder, but would spin them in the wrong direction and then slap them to their shoulder. Which meant if they come across an enemy or had to use their weapon, they would have to awkwardly spin it back around before they could shoot, rather than just drop it into their other hand and fire, as you really would. I have yet to go into the game to really see the updates, so maybe I'm speaking out of my ass on this one. And maybe that's not all what they did. But there were weapon equip animations that were updated. In the store, we have the new weapon, the Scottfield Model 3 Revolver, added at rank 1. So you get right out of the gate, you get access to that weapon. It's $7,700 is what it'll cost, so very reasonably priced. A classic single-action break-open revolver, the Scottfield has seen both sides of the law. The break action allows for quicker ejection of spent rounds, meaning a faster overall reload when empty. So I'm going to guess that they're giving the packs, as far as a medium ammo revolver goes, it will have the damage in range, where the Scottfield will have the quicker reload. New variants, the Vetterli 71 Carabiner Marksman. So they've added a Marksman scope to the Vetterli that will make it quite dangerous. I mean, it's already dangerous. It's going to make it more dangerous. Added to the Vetterli 71 category for $190 Hunt, so it's not cheap. The Vetterli 71 Carabiner Silencer, added to the Vetterli 71 category for $150 Hunt, sounds reasonable. And the Labelle 1866 Aperture, why would you do that? Why would you make that? The Winfield Aperture is disgusting. It's a horrible sight. I don't know anyone who'd want to intentionally use it. Anytime I had to use that gun, I just use the weapon specialty button to lower that sight and just turn it into a normal Winfield, because it's atrocious. But maybe there's someone out there who enjoys the Aperture. So now, if you like the Labelle and you always wanted an Aperture version, congratulations. New custom ammo, the Scottfield Model 3 FMJ. They added to the Scottfield Model 3 category for $35. So they added the full metal jacket, the incendiary rounds, the Carabiner, the Vetterli Carabiner now has high velocity rounds for $95. Whew! And the Winfield 1887 Terminus Dragon Breath. So they've added the Dragon Breath to the Terminus for $50 Hunt. The weak Regeneration Shot and the Regeneration Shot were added, obviously in consumables. And then new legendary items, we kind of started off with those. The most of them got Wormwood and the Winfield 1887 Terminus hand cannon, the Bird of Prey. There were some price changes to weapons. The Nagant 1895 Officer went from $66 to $96, so a $30 increase. The Officer Brawler went from $80 to $110. The Weak Stamina Shot went from $10 to $60. The Stamina Shot went from $40 to $100. That's expensive. But I guess that they realize how many people just maul bosses with those things. Weak Antidote Shot went from $25 to $50, and the Antidote Shot went from $55 to $80. So they really want to discourage some usage of the Antidote Shots there, probably to make the poison rounds and weapons more viable. But I'm not sure it's going to change too many minds, just be spending people's cash a little faster. There were some decreases as well. So the Winfield M1876 Centennial went from $277 down to $157. That makes it super reasonable. In fact, it makes you question if you want to use the Winfield high velocity rounds at all or just buy a Centennial. Because at that cost, it really makes the Centennial a lot more of a viable weapon. The Winfield M1876 Centennial Sniper went from $298 down to $229. So really encouraging people using that weapon. That's a significant price drop. The Crossbow went from $55 to $50. That's not really going to change any minds. The Hand Crossbow went from $35 to $30. Again, kind of a pointless change, but, you know, whatever they want to do with their game. The Hunting Bow went from $97 to $57. So makes it a little bit more reasonable of a choice. And then the price decreased from multiple custom ammo types. So that's cool. Beyond that, we just got some bug fixes, both with the AI, the gunplay. Let's see. So as far as the bug fixes, I'll leave it up to you guys to really read on those. But this seems like it's going to be a pretty cool little update. I look forward to getting in the game and checking this stuff out. I'm assuming the same of you. So with that, I'm going to end here. I do have to ask one favor, and that would be that not only do you like this video and subscribe to the channel, but you also send me monetary gifts on a regular basis. Guys, if you can do that, I really appreciate it. Until next time, keep the game on, Game Stars. I'm out.